Just can't believe they are killing women. Gender violence. Sorry, I had to compose myself a little bit. Like, this is like a Law and Order movie type of thing, the way they are killing them. And hello everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Anna, and today's video is truly so different from everything else I've done here on YouTube. And you know, this is a very serious topic, so the tone is completely different from my usual, and it's about gender violence here in the island of Puerto Rico. So I'm gonna be discussing some cases that are happening currently here, and I will touch on, you know, the killing of, the murdering of women, and a little bit of transgender women as well. This is something that's not new. It has been happening since forever, but recently it's just like insane. And now that I'm here in Puerto Rico, I feel like I see it more, I feel it more. So I figured that I had to bring awareness to this, since I do videos on Puerto Rico. Just like I bring to you all the good stuff, I have to bring the bad stuff as well. Now, I'm doing this video with all the respect that it deserves. This is not intended to gossip, talk bad about these cases or families that are being affected. This is solely to bring awareness to this topic. And I know a lot of you that are watching my videos are in the US, in the States. So I figured I'd bring awareness to this topic so that you know what's going on in Puerto Rico, know about this gender violence that has been happening here and how it's getting worse. Okay, so let's talk about the first case. And this case, I gotta breathe, because this is a very crazy, insane, mind-blowing case. Okay, so let me tell you about it. There's this young girl called Keishla Rodriguez, and she's 27 years old. She has her boyfriend, Felix Verdejo, also 27 years old. He is a well-known boxer here in the island. So they were boyfriend and girlfriend. But guess what? He is married, and he has been married all along. And Keishla and Felix have been together for 11 years. So she has been his lover, his chilla, as they say here, for 11 years. And apparently his wife knows about her, and she knows about her, and they know each other apparently from childhood. But guess what? Keishla got pregnant. And I guess Felix did not like that. So guess what Felix did when he found out that Keishla was pregnant with his baby and he's married? He decided to murder her. Murder her. Like, that's the solution that he came up with. And what he did and how he did it, just the whole story is just mind-blowing. So I'm going to tell you all about it now. So Felix decides he wants to talk to Keishla and, you know, meet up with her to discuss, you know, the baby and the pregnancy and all that stuff. So she drives to where he told her to, and she gets out of the car, gets into his car, and guess what? He is not alone. He is with a friend. So she gets in the car, and I'm guessing they talked a little bit or whatever, but allegedly he punched her twice. And this is coming from a boxer. So imagine 2 punches from a boxer. So he punches her twice, breaks her jaw, breaks her nose. So after he punched her twice, he injected her with a mixed drug of heroin and fentanyl. I know, this is insane. So this is not over. So I'm guessing she might be at that point like all drugged up or unconscious. I'm not sure, the details are not there. But then he tied her hands, tied her feet, and then tied concrete blocks to her. So then he goes to the bridge of Teodoro Moscoso, which is in this area of Carolina, San Juan, and he passes a few times through the Teodoro Moscoso. Mind you, there's cameras there, tons of them. So he passes by, I'm guessing, you know, where are we throwing her? Where are we throwing her? And then finally decided on a spot. And, you know, she's unconscious. She is tied up to concrete blocks. And then he threw her, I'm guessing with a friend, threw her over the bridge. And get this, he threw her, he took out a gun and started shooting at her. I believe it was 2 shots. So she was still alive. So he was trying to like kill her at this point. And apparently the shots did not touch her. So she was still alive when she went towards the water. And she died She died of asphyxiation. Sorry. Sorry, I had to compose myself a little bit. As a woman, this is very tough for me. Okay, so he threw her over the bridge, and this is a lagoon. And actually, my boyfriend and I fish in that lagoon. So we always pick a spot. And if you see me on Instagram, you have seen me there. We fish there, and I can only imagine finding a body or something as fishing. Like, it's just like very law and order here. But yeah, he threw her, and it's just like, what were you thinking? Like, okay, she's pregnant. Like, I get it, you're married, and like, I just don't know what was his thinking, like the process. Like, I just don't get it. Like, the option is to kill her. Like, the option is to kill her, murder her, and her child. I just don't get it. And mind you, like I mentioned, there are tons of cameras in that area. If you're smarter, you go to a more secluded area. Like, it's just like, nothing makes sense. Nothing makes sense. And the friend, like, what are you thinking, helping him? So the FBI is handling this case, and obviously they interrogated a few people, including Felix and his accomplice, and they questioned them, and eventually Felix did turn himself into the FBI, and he was charged. Well, they were both charged with kidnapping resulting in death, carjacking resulting in death, and killing an unborn child. So both of them were charged with these things. And just so you know, Felix might be facing life in prison or the death penalty. And to tell you the truth, in my opinion, I would let him rot in jail, because killing him, I don't feel like that's justice. It's not making him suffer. He should be in jail for the rest of his life, thinking about everything that he did, thinking about Keishla and her unborn child, and reliving everything that he did that day, and regret it for the rest of his life. That's my opinion. And there are many speculations with this story. You know, everybody has an opinion. Everybody on social media thinks they are an investigator, that they know what they're talking about. Why don't you do this? Why don't you do that? Why is the FBI not, you know, arresting the wife? She knew about it. She might be in on it. Her dad apparently is like a big drug person in the neighborhood, and he could have been involved. And, you know, all these speculations, it's like, I'm sure they're doing their job, hopefully, and, you know, Keishla will have justice. And finally, yesterday, they put Keishla to rest. They did this really nice ceremony. They walked her in like a carriage through the street, and her family and a lot of people from Puerto Rico showed up. The news was there. It was beautiful. Yeah, there was a lot of support from the community. There's a lot of protests going on with this as well, with the gender violence. So this is not over. Okay, so let's move on to the next case. And I think this happened about the same day or so from Keishla's case. So in this case, her name is Andrea Ruiz. And this young lady was 35 years old, and she was being stalked, harassed, and threatened by her ex-boyfriend. He just wouldn't leave her alone. And she tried her best to, you know, get rid of him and for him to stop with all this craziness. And she went to the police, she went through the court system, and in this case, the court system just didn't help her. Okay, so the police had probable cause to press charges. So they went to court, and the judge decided that she wanted to do a hearing. Basically, a hearing is they're gonna hear both sides. She wants to hear her side, and she wants to hear his side. So the day of the hearing comes, and, you know, the judge is there, Miguel is there with his counsel, and Andrea's there. But guess what? Her prosecutor did not show up. So there was no one there to represent her. And they continued with the case like nothing. And, you know, it is known that this happens all the time, where the prosecutors just don't show up, and, you know, the case is just being held in court with no representation, which this is insane. So that's what happened to Andrea. She had no representation, and basically the case was dismissed. They didn't do anything. The judge didn't think that, you know, we should do anything about Miguel. So he went about his day free. So even though the police had probable cause to press charges, the judge didn't find probable cause. So she ruled no probable cause. So yeah, Andrea never got the order of protection, so the judge didn't protect her, the cops eventually didn't protect her, and so like a month later, after that hearing, what did Miguel decide to do, her ex-boyfriend? He decided to kill her. She was found burnt, partially burnt. Again, why is this happening? Why did he decide to do that? He was already the ex, like, he wasn't even with her anymore. And Miguel did confess to the murder, which is good. At least he confessed, makes it a little bit easier to, you know, prosecute him. What they're gonna do exactly with him, I'm not quite sure yet. So one good thing came out of this Andrea Ruiz case, and they made a change here in Puerto Rico in the court system, where when there is a domestic violence case, the prosecutor must be there. So nothing is going to be determined unless they are all there. So not like with Andrea that the prosecutor wasn't there. Now everybody must be there. So let's see what happens with this, because like they mentioned that there are not enough prosecutors. So how they're going to do this, I'm not sure. But hopefully this will improve with domestic violence and gender violence. So we'll see how that goes. There is a movement going on right now with this topic. And, you know, there are protests. Women are just, you know, furious. And there is a saying and a hashtag for this movement, ni una más, ni una menos, which is not one less, not one more. So we just need to do something about it. I'm bringing awareness. Everyone needs to talk about this, and the governor needs to do something about it. Just everybody needs to do something about it. And men need to stop it. Just dump us, leave us, divorce us. Killing is not an option. Killing us is not an option. And since this news broke, there's still more cases coming out. So as you can see, these two cases were big, and you know, there are protests, there are changes being made in the island. This is a movement, which is good. It's bringing attention and awareness to it, and hopefully more changes are to come. Actually, this week, Puerto Rico approved $7 million to combat gender violence here in the island. And I wanted to show real quick this chart right here, where it shows all the women that have been affected by gender violence. Also wanted to share the transgender women that have also been affected by this gender violence. As you can see, this is a long list. I truly want to express my respect and condolences to these families and friends and everyone affected by this. It's horrible, and nobody should have to go through this. That is it for this video. Before you go, please let me know down below in the comments if these kind of videos interest you, you know, serious topics, things that are happening here in Puerto Rico, and maybe I'll do some more. I'm all about educating. My background is in education. I like teaching, educating, making you aware of things. So if this interests you, let me know. Maybe you could give it a thumbs up or comment below. And yeah, that's about it. I'll see you in my next one. Bye. And don't forget, ni una más, ni una menos.